Just when you thought there wasn't going to be a whole lot of excitement, other than the college football playoff setup and, whatever. I mean, some people in the football world are just the gift that keeps on giving, right, Ed?
That's right. We got the coaching carousel, which we thought was closed, is now possibly reopened. We got our boy Brett doing some crack reporting here, trying to find out the dirty details of what may bring Lane Kiffin to Alabama. We've got the Notre Dame AD that just doesn't know when to stop. God, we can talk for hours, but let's get it going, Eric.
It's gonna be a good one.
And that's the bottom line. Want a war? You're going to get one.
The queen rise to the top, oh yeah.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do.
We get the best of both worlds on Wednesday nights. You know that?
Why is that?
We get to wrap up all the crap that happened last weekend, but then you always get to be first in line for all this weird stuff that starts presenting itself for the coming weekend, huh?
And I tell you what, I mean, I've really become real frustrated with college football in a lot of ways. But, now that I don't have a college football team, wait a second, I do, go Hoosiers. Now that I don't have really a college football team, I can just sit back and watch everybody suffer and bleed for their team and have all the crap happen to them and have zero skin in the game, because and I can just talk about it.
I heard the H word. I heard the H word coming out of your mouth. I thought for a minute there you was going to say Hawkeye.
Whoa,
come out as Hoosier.
I haven't completely lost my mind. I haven't completely lost it. I mean, after tonight, there is only one more leg that the Iowa State University needs to complete for a clean Cyhawk sweep of the major sports, bud. Because listen, we don't count like swimming and stuff, all right? It's football, volleyball, wrestling, men's and women's basketball. And we've got 4 of them. And tomorrow night, what's left, Ed?
1 year does not a state make, my friend.
The Iowa State University brings their number 4 ranking to Hilton Coliseum to play your Hawkeyes.
Well, after bitch slapping Purdue on Purdue's home floor, look for a major
letdown. That's what you're hoping for.
Yeah, big time letdown, and that was just the update coming in on ESPN.
Yeah, that's what you're hoping for. All right, let's bring the boys on. Brett, how's it going, bud?
Another day in paradise.
KJ,
as the college football world turns.
Oh,
That's
speaking of that, so since you brought it up, Brett, let's just get right to it. So it was reported not very long ago that this guy, Michigan, is out. Michigan has removed him for cause. There were reports of an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. Now, I've heard several reports of this, that, and the other. That's irrelevant to the bottom line, guys. Let me set up a scenario for you, Brett.
That is relevant.
That is relevant to this. We're not going to get into the deep weeds and all that stuff, but let me set the scenario up for you. Michigan, I don't know if it was the AD or Booster or whoever it is, came out and said, Kalen DeBoer, which you're very familiar with him, said he is choice number 1, 2, and 3. So let's just play devil's advocate.
That sounds like a lot of confidence there.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if there's already been a phone call made.
Let's just play devil's advocate here. And since I no longer have a team in NCAA football, wouldn't it be super dicey as the college football world turns to see Kalen DeBoer go to Michigan and then see Alabama have to, give a little and say, hey, Lane, I know you've been at LSU for about 17 days, but would you like to come coach the Alabama Crimson Tide? And Lane Kiffin says, fly me there. And all of a sudden there's plane trackers from Baton Rouge to Tuscaloosa and blah, blah, blah.
Or Alabama has been apprehensive about having Lane as their head coach. So the other scenario would be, hey, Lane, this is the Alabama athletic director. Would you be interested into coming to Alabama and coaching our team during the playoffs? And we'll decide whether we want you as head coach once we see how you perform.
Yeah, since Nick Saban booted you before the championship game back in the day, we want to give you a reprieve and let you do that, and we'll do our evaluations. All right, Brett, there's a scenario. Take us through what that scenario would feel like.
So start peeling back the layers here, Brent. Let us know what's fact on this deal.
Well, he was rumored for a Penn State job. Kalen's got a big contract down here. He's doing a solid job with recruiting, X's and O's. Me and quite a few Alabama fans talk privately. And like I tried to tell them, you got to understand, like I've said on the show, there's only one Bear Bryant, there's only one Nick Saban. You had to know we were going to take a step back with whoever replaced him. That's just common sense. Yeah, we all want to win, and hey, we're Alabama, and well, you know what? We're not the only big boy around, and things are cyclical. It goes up and down like a roller coaster. On Kalen, if that's where he wants to be, that's where he needs to be. Go ahead and do us a favor and do himself a favor. That's how I'm gonna leave it. I'm trying to be nice. All right. Alabama's always been known for their physicality, defense, running game. Even when we wasn't good, we were physical and we were going to play smash mouth, kind of like what the Bears used to be back in the day, until they literally fell off the map for a while. Look, they love to run the ball in the Big Ten. Michigan is power smash mouth running game. Ask Mike Palco and any Michigan fan. Kalen hadn't been able to run the ball here in the SEC with Alabama for the last 2 seasons. How the hell is he going to do it up there?
But Brett, this is what I would argue. The SEC is deep. And every single year, and if Alabama is taking a step back, like you said they have, they are deep. So you are competing with 7, 8 teams at a time, potentially. And Alabama was close to not making it this year. Okay? So why not go to a Big Ten team where the Big Ten is not as deep? You're competing with maybe 4 or 5 teams. Sorry, Ed, Iowa's not in that group.
Yeah, I mean, all he would be competing against is, for the most part, Ohio State, Oregon, and I think your boy, not to rub salt in the wound, at Penn State is going to do a really good job.
Well, you got
in the SEC, like you said, hell, you've got 8 teams every year that's going to be formidable. There is no such thing as an easy Notre Dame schedule in the SEC. We'll wait and see what happens with Byrne and Kalen. But look, we almost made the playoffs last year. We did make it this year, whether we almost did or didn't. Main problem I have with Kalen DeBoer is the lack of adjustments in game and even after the game. I just that's what really frustrates me. And I've got a couple buddies that said, "Look, Alabama needs to pony up." What Indiana? We talked about how smart they were to lock up Cignetti. Like week 5, week 6, when they seen this coming, this freight train of coaching changes coming, pick up the phone and offer him $15 million. So you want to come back to Bama? Because people forget when Nick Saban came here in 2007 and took over a total damn mess. Guess who was one of his assistants from 2007, 2010, and watched him build the program back up brick by brick? It was Kirk Cignetti. That's the man I want. If Kalen wants to go out, look, that man just beat Ohio State with 7 4-stars on his roster. And I want to say Ohio State's got 67 or 63 4 and 5 stars on their roster. I mean, what is he, 24-2 at Indiana? Look, they might not win the title.
Google him. All right? Google him. He wins.
Google that man, because I'm telling you, that's the man. Look, if you held a gun to my head and said, "Brett, you got to tell me right now, be honest with me. Hook me up to the lie detector. Who do you and a lot of the Bama people want?" It's Kirk Cignetti. But are we going to be willing to pay him 15? Because Indiana just paid him 11. So if Kalen walks out the door, my first half a dozen phone calls, if I'm Greg Byrne, is Kirk Cignetti. And I'd say, are you interested or not? If you're not, fine. But if you are interested, we'll talk again after your playoff run's over. And I would lock that man up. I would put a tracker on all of his vehicles. I would reincarnate Mal Moore, put him in a chair next to Nick Saban on a private jet, and fly them both to Indiana and bring that man back to Tuscaloosa. That's what I would do. But in all seriousness, Kalen's only been here 2 years, and if that's what he wants, he needs to go on and roll. I mean, I'm not being ugly. It's going to be tough for Alabama to find a good coach immediately. We might have to go through a couple coaches before we find the right guy again. But if he's not all in or if he's wavering, roll on, baby. I mean, you know how it is. It is what it is.
Listen, I'm rooting for it. I'm rooting for complete freaking utter chaos and drama, period. That's all NCAA football is to me, because this year, if it has proven anything, it's been wild, and it's just going to continue to get more wild.
Let me tell you a quick story real quick. The last coach that tried to pull this crap on Alabama was Dennis Franchione, if y'all remember him. And Paul Bryant Jr. literally had to be separated from him before they got him out of town that night when he pulled that. So if that's what Kalen wants to do, he can go on and roll, but it ain't going to be an exit like he got up in Washington, I can assure you.
So are you telling me that at Ole Miss they're flipping Lane Kiffin on and booing him and stuff, and at Alabama they're shooting at the plane? Is that kind of the difference?
You know, that's kind of like that F around and find out type situation. But in all seriousness, if that's what Kalen wants, if he wants to leave the University of Alabama with our history and tradition and our facilities and a lot of the advantages that we do have, which I know Michigan's got a lot of the same. If that's where he wants to be, roll on. But it needs to be handled immediately. Like it needs to be addressed right now, and Byrne needs to be, which he probably is, sitting across from DeBoer right now, saying, "What's it going to be?"
Right.
You know, and go ahead and whether he leaves or stays, go on. Let's get it done today, and we'll figure out the coaching staff come playoff game. That's all you can do. The worst thing that can happen, and y'all know this, is it linger for 4, 5, 6 weeks.
What does he make a year? What they
I
say?
think it's 11. I think it's 11 million a year.
You know, it'll be interesting. Ed, do you know, or KJ or somebody, like, it would be interesting to know how much money, like in the top 20, how much, you know, who's in the top 20 for access to money?
Sharon Moore, I do know, was making 5 to 6.
Right. What I'm saying is, though, what does the nil package look like in Michigan compared to the nil at Alabama?
It's more thanks to Portnoy. The quarterback that they took from LSU, I think the day before signing day last year. I think he got an astronomical amount of money, and it was reported 2 weeks ago that he wasn't happy and that he was going to transfer after 1 year. And that coincides with, you know, like Troy Aikman talking about a player that he paid to go to UCLA and never got a thank you card, and now after 1 year the kids won't leave. This is like I said, we've talked about this privately.
I'm for it.
This ain't gonna continue.
Just keep tossing money at it and start. Yeah, I'm for it now, man. I don't care. Go Hoosiers. I'm over it.
Hey, the thing of it is, like I showed you guys, I think Texas is the Texas Longhorns spent around $35 million this year in nil. Alabama spent $33 million in nil in 4 years, and Texas went 9-3 this year and didn't go to the playoffs. So that's the stories I love to hear, and we need to hear more of that, because that's the only way some of this is going to calm down and get back to reality.
I honestly, and you know, KJ, you tell me what you think. I don't think it ever comes back to reality unless they do some type of, you know, cap, some type of something. I don't think it ever comes back to reality.
Absent structure and regulation, obviously, to your point, it will be just I guess what's the term, buyer's market, essentially.
Free for all.
You'll have that too. You'll have a bidding war, you know, both within the player pool and the coaching pool. And that'll kind of be where things lie. I mean, I think there still will exist your periodic one-offs who want to be, you know, a perennial guy, perennial player, whatever. But those obviously will be the exception, not the rule. I mean, my biggest concern with the beyond the college landscape, obviously, it definitely throws a wrench in, you know, what we see season to season. But I mean, we've seen so much of the I guess for lack of a better word, financial illiteracy of even guys in the pros. And this is only going to like make that worse for kids who are barely out of college. And it's just, that to me is the saddest part of this all.
No, I love it. I love it. You come in 18 years old and expect everybody to give it to you. Let that draft stock tumble. I love it. I love it. Money be gone in 2 years, and there'll be nothing but a bunch of overpriced jewelry and sports cars laying around. That's exactly what they get.
To your point, Brett, I think it will definitely expedite us being able to weed out the wheat from the chaff in terms of true talent after even just 1 year of seeing every guy field.
Hey, Ed, I'm in, man. Ed, I'm in for total chaos, man. What do you think? I mean,
No, you guys saw the list I sent to you today, right?
yeah.
After we had to talk you off the ledge this last weekend.
There was 3 of those guys that had good seasons that got paid all that money. 3 of them.
I'm off the ledge, Ed, and I am 100% up for total chaos. I don't have an NCAA football team that I root for anymore because mine's going to be irrelevant that I did root for because it's about money now, and
So
I'm not cheering for money.
So since we're speaking of total chaos now, let's get the final.
Oh yeah,
let's get the final.
Look at that thing.
Bracket up here for the college football playoffs.
Guys, I think they nailed it. I think the college football playoff committee absolutely nailed it.
Nailed it.
Cinematic explosion behind him as he throws the match in the TNT box.
Oh, I love it. You know what? I am so excited to watch a 21.5-point underdog play in the college football. I mean, I can't wait.
So the interesting part of this is the team that's sitting at number 13, who was the first team out, withdrew consideration for a bowl. The AD of Notre Dame has kind of went on a rampage the last couple days, and his latest was coming out yesterday, having a press conference and saying that Notre Dame went on one of the most college historic 10-game winning streaks in college history, when it kind of fails to have teeth when you have Ohio State, Indiana, and Texas Tech all had 10-game winning streaks. In fact, Ohio State and Indiana had longer than 10-game winning streaks just in this season.
Yeah.
So to go out on a limb and say that you had a 10-game college history run that maybe has never been equaled, well, let's pull up what this 10-game streak was.
I think I just lost 10 IQ points listening to that.
Okay, so here's the 10-game winning streak they had this year. But and it has the college rankings of each team that they beat in that historic 10-game win streak. Other than the USC Pitt game, where Pitt is not even in the top 25. Do you see anything below there that makes you just say, "Yep, Notre Dame got hosed"?
I see bottom feeders from the ACC, and that's tough to do. I see a bottom feeder from the Big Ten. I see a bottom feeder from the SEC. And, I mean, let's face it.
So
teams inside the top 50, like that.
Yeah.
That really only anybody cares about and pays attention to.
And so, the college playoff committee was so shaken this week by all the Notre Dame onslaught of, I call it misinformation, that they've already announced that next year they're going to change the rules for Notre Dame. And if Notre Dame, when the selection committee comes out, as long as Notre Dame is ranked in the top 12 in the country, they're automatically in. So what does that mean? That means that when the preseason rankings come out next year, in 2026, that Notre Dame will be in the top 12 in the country to begin with. But then let's look at their daunting schedule for next year that will give you any reason to believe that they won't be in the top 12 next year when the college football playoffs come on. Okay, so let's look at their Big Ten part of their schedule. Wisconsin, Michigan State, and Purdue. Forgive me if I think I'm right here. I think
Hey, don't
those
forget
were like the
USC.
bottom 3 teams in the Big Ten.
Don't
this
forget
year.
USC in there. Don't forget
Oh
USC.
God, that's right. And they're going to put all the pressure on themselves and make that the last game of the season. So,
I mean,
so help me make sense of this. You know, back in the COVID period, when schedules got thrown for a loop, Notre Dame was in trouble of even being able to put a schedule together. So the ACC reached out and they said, Notre Dame, let us help you with your schedule. And we are going to let you schedule ACC teams to fill out your schedule. And, you know, you can even be a part of our conference. We're going to get you through this little blip in the screen. And so then after they helped Notre Dame through this precarious position that they were in, the next year they said to Notre Dame, you know what? We'll even welcome you into the conference. And what did Notre Dame say? We don't need to be in a conference.
Yeah, not in football because we're Notre Dame.
We don't want any revenue sharing on any bowl games or any playoffs that we may be a part of. We want the money bag for ourselves.
yeah.
The entitlement of Notre Dame it's just I know I've read so many comments on X and TikTok and Facebook over the last few days. And that's me being a born and raised Alabama fan, and I'm astonished by their entitlement. It's I mean, I'll quote Brandon Walker from Barstool Sports. Who in the hell do they think they are? This is not the 40s. This is not the 50s. This is not the 60s. And it damn sure ain't 1988 when they won their last national championship.
So, KJ, I know you're a big Navy fan because we're going to get into that game, the old Army-Navy game. They come out today and they said, you know, look at Notre Dame's schedule, though. The team that you're overlooking, Navy. Navy has shown that they are a potential powerhouse in college football that's being overlooked in Notre Dame's schedule. So to that, you would say what?
I mean, they're a powerhouse in the AAC, but that's not even a power group of 4 conference. Like,
Right.
I'll give them credit, but we all know just as well, you know, the counter to that is in order for Navy to even get consideration to get in the CFP, they probably have to go near undefeated 2 years in a row. And that's assuming they're still even taking the grading scale or any attributes of the grading scale that they had pre-12-team expansion, which I don't even know if they're doing really anymore. So, I mean, that may be a fictional reach in and of itself. You know, I would be the first person to step up on the hillside and die on the hill to say, you know, Navy got cheapened out of their berth in their conference championship this year, but that's separate from the CFP thing. And to that effect too, I mean, we already saw their queue of teams they played last year. This scheduling for next season looks nearly identical,
but weaker.
Yeah, potentially.
At least when Lou Holtz, back in the 80s when Lou Holtz was coaching Notre Dame, they had a legit schedule. They played all the Big Ten teams that were good at that time. The Michigan State back then, right. You know, they were right on the heels of Michigan. They always had a solid program. Miami was Miami back in the 80s.
Right.
So, I mean, when Lou Holtz had a schedule, he had a gauntlet schedule because he didn't hold back on anybody.
No.
USC back then, too. And then they would play Florida State quite frequently back then.
Yeah, so...
And you remember what Florida State was like when Bobby Bowden was in his prime.
And so I look at this schedule and I look at if this doesn't scream blue bloods, you know, if you want to put Notre Dame in there as a blue blood, go ahead for comparison reasons. But
Yeah.
when you look at the Blue Bloods, if you're going to give Notre Dame a guarantee of being in the college football playoffs by being a top 12 team, and you're going to have them, get a schedule like this year in and year out, tell me why the Texas, the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States are going to schedule anybody in the first 3 games of the season, which is, quote, the preseason of college football, that's going to possibly put a loss on their record to begin the season. What's going to be the incentive to do that?
What's the point?
No.
I mean, look at Texas.
Do you think Texas is sitting there right now saying, oh, damn, we got to play Ohio State again next year? I mean, what's the point?
And the problem is those are the games as fans people want to see. But yet, I mean, so looking at Notre Dame before we get into Texas and that whole deal, I have zero problem with Notre Dame saying we're not playing in a bowl. Listen, I think we can all agree the bowl games are DOA. They're dead. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it just ain't gonna happen. There's too many guys sitting out because we're going to the NFL, coaching change. I mean, it just is what it is. The bowl games are dead. The problem that I have with Notre Dame on this is, and I think it was the athletic director that kind of initially sounded this, that they were mad at the ACC for not pushing their case to the committee over Miami. Now, Miami has been in the ACC for over 2 decades. Ed, you laid out what Notre Dame told them when they wanted them in the ACC for football. And Brett has mentioned the entitlement. What does Notre Dame think the ACC is going to do? They're married to Miami. Notre Dame is just the mistress that dabbles once in a while, yet Notre Dame is out there saying, well, the ACC didn't go to bat for us. Why should they go to bat for you over Miami? That's the problem I have. That is the entitlement whining that Notre Dame has. Do I feel sorry for Notre Dame? No. But as we, if we go back to the college football playoff scenario, I sure in the hell would rather see Notre Dame and BYU in there than Tulane and James Madison.
Or Vanderbilt, or Texas.
Or Vanderbilt, or Texas.
We can get into that too.
I mean, you can, the thing that bothers me about the college football playoff. Let's go to Texas, for example. Okay. Ohio State and Texas played. Aside from Indiana beating them Big Ten championship in the regular season, Texas gave Ohio State their best game, 14-7, beginning of the year. Okay. Well, it's 3 losses, Texas. Sorry, you're out. Okay, so that makes me turn to Alabama. Alabama has 3 losses, correct? Correct. But their 3rd loss was in their conference tournament, correct? Correct. And it was to Georgia. Well, but they say that Alabama should not be penalized for losing in their
span of less than like 2 minutes, I think, on their show too, Eric.
Yeah.
I want to all people note that.
Yeah, so Alabama should not be penalized for losing their conference championship. Okay, listen, I agree with that. And I think Alabama has every right to be there. But then you turn around and you say BYU didn't look good enough in their conference championship to earn a spot. Then I look back at Alabama with Georgia and say you had -4 rushing yards. The thing that irks me about college football, and I'm not bagging on Alabama or sticking up for BYU or whatever. It's irrelevant. Go Hoosiers. I don't have a team. But it irritates me that because whoever the hell's on this committee, they just willy-nilly plug things in as it works for the narrative for this team, and then for this team, and then for this team and that team. Well, you could make an argument for Texas. You could say, well, if using BYU's criteria, you could say to Texas, you could say, well, we lost to Ohio State. We have one bad loss to Florida, right? Okay. Alabama lost to Georgia, and they got the bad loss to Florida State. And who else, Brett?
Oklahoma.
Okay, Oklahoma. So by putting Alabama there, you can say, well, they made their conference championship. You did not. No problem with that. 0. But then when you flip to BYU, you could say, well, BYU was 10-1 or 11-1. They lose in the conference championship to the same team that they lost to earlier. And you say, well, it didn't look pretty in the conference championship. Sorry, BYU, you're out. What is the actual criteria then for the college?
Well, I think you're comparing apples to oranges on BYU and Alabama, because Alabama beat.
I'm not saying Alabama does. What I'm saying is, if you want to look at, you're going to talk about strength of schedule because they're in the SEC. I get that, 100%.
Yeah.
But what
and
I'm
they
saying
also beat Georgia on the road, where BYU got their ass kicked both times when they played Texas Tech.
But what I'm saying is, I'm not bagging on Alabama. It's just an example, Brett. Cool down. But what I'm saying is, you can't use one criteria for one and not use that same criteria for the other.
I think he's addressing, if you get into the really nuts and bolts of the rhetoric itself, Brett.
Just give us some actual criteria.
I shared this with y'all internally outside the confines of the show, but and it goes back to, I guess, more of the BCS type structure. If you have something that's mathematical, numeric, and formula, it truly does remove the biasing. Well, yes, you can penalize Alabama less for their loss than you penalize BYU for theirs. But the fact that they both get penalized is where the uniformity lies. Which the rhetoric that's being conveyed on shows and everybody who reviews the panel that makes these decisions, that is not happening.
But as Jay brings up, and I'm not going to put his comment up because he's making his point. Is Eric talking about bowl games being obsolete? You're going to start seeing teams that are going to say, we're in the conference championship. No, we're good. We got our 2 losses or whatever. We're good. We don't need to be in the conference championship. So how long does it take before you start having teams opt out of?
Well, while I hear the logic there, Ed, the one thing I would buck to that notion is that as it presently sits, the CFP doesn't care about extemporaneous bowl games that aren't directly related with the playoff structure. The conference championships do directly play a role in the outcome of CFP seeding. And I say all that to say you can omit a secondary bowl game that's truly in the postseason, and it's not going to affect anything because there's nothing after it.
Well, what's when you say that though?
Yeah.
Other than the bye week, other than getting a bye week, what would be the incentive if you're a team that's sitting there with 2 losses and you're not one of the 4 that's going to get a bye week, right, but you want to remain in the top 12?
Well, this is what I would say, and maybe I'm wrong in thinking this, but I would think that in BYU's case scenario, let's go back, say pre-championship game, if they even considered that logic and said we're just going to skip our conference championship, I personally think the CFP would look down upon that and negatively grade them because of it. Regardless of the fact that they only have 1 loss.
Lane Kiffin brought that up 2 years ago at Ole Miss that he didn't want to play in the conference championship game. And look, here's the deal, and I think me and Eric really agree on this. I don't know about the other you guys. I know Chad's on a whole nother realm of that, but thankfully he's not on the show right now.
Right.
Just put it to 32 damn teams. That way, look, if you can't make it the top 32. The only reason I say that is you're adding so many more games, right? This will be the new bowl games. Like the Weed Eater Bowl will be in the first. You can still have the bowls, and then look. I'm sorry, James Madison, Tulane, whatever. If you got to put one of those, I just hope they get the ever living shit kicked out of them, and it embarrasses them to where at some point we get. I mean.
And Brett,
we all know Vanderbilt's better. We all know Texas is better. We all know BYU's better. We all know Notre Dame's better. But here we are looking at this piece of crap on this paper. And it's just like when Feinbaum called it out the other day, and Heather didn't. She just could not help. She just sitting there doing, just shaking her head. No, we just. And they finally panned away from her, dumbass. Excuse my language, because Feinbaum's right. The only reason these two little dinky dork schools are in here is to avoid a lawsuit. So give them their own G5 tournament. Give them their own tournament.
Give them the NIT or whatever they want to do at college football.
100%.
But it's like, even if you go to a 32, which I would fully support, and you had to take a game away from, I guess, quote, the bottom half of the college football or whatever, and instead of a 12-game regular season, it's an 11-game, so be it. But if you have a top 32 and you have to have that extra week to have another round of the playoffs, to me, it's like Eric said, if you have 32 or even if you have 24, if you don't make it, too bad. So sad.
Too bad. I'm not going to sit there and argue for the.
You rank them top to bottom. You rank them, not all this other conference champions and all this crap.
Right.
You rank them 1 through 24. Rank them 1 through 32. Put up the bracket. I think did you load the one in that if they'd have done 16, Eric, what it would have looked like?
Yep. I'll pull that up.
Did you omit the two turds out of there, Eric?
Yes. This is just strictly taking the top 16 and making brackets out of it. You tell me one game out of those brackets that you would not be entertained to watch.
That looks so much better.
You take the top 16, put them in the tournament, and go. I mean, there's a one game there that you couldn't say, man, that could be a good game.
I mean, could you imagine the ratings out of that right there? I mean, come on, man.
Why is it?
They're worried about money. Let's make money and let's enjoy the football.
You don't think viewership on every one of those games is not going to be?
If we see the same trend occur next year in the postseason that we're seeing this year, with either, I'd say, approximately the same number of teams or even more potentially bowing out of bowl games, Eric, I think it would only further support the case for this argument and really light a fire under the CFP's behind, not only from the general fan populace, but also the administrators who, lead these miscellaneous bowl games who wouldn't be potentially even having teams to play in them because so many teams are bowing out. They'd be like, do something, like we need the money. We gotta facilitate this event. We can't do it without a dang team. That's
when Ed and I looked at this, I was like, tell me which game, and you're like, oh God, that's probably a snoozer. I mean, yes, I get it. 1 and 16, your 2 and 15 matchups might be a stretch, but you know what? I'll take Indiana and USC over Ole Miss and Tulane any day. I will take Ohio State and Utah over James Madison and Oregon any day.
I mean, if I could have got my hands on Heather Dinich the other day, I would have went back to jail. What in the hell does she know about football? You're sitting there shaking your head on a playoff game where the damn line is 21.5. What are you even talking about? I mean, what are we doing?
It's all, and I looked this, I think I talked to you about it, Brett. It's lawsuits. They're worried about the group of 5 schools suing the NCAA for, antitrust or whatever they put to it, that they're excluding us from having the opportunity. That's why they put those slots in. And because the ACC was such a train wreck, not only do we get the Power 5, but Duke, because they won the ACC, doesn't qualify. So not only do we get one group of 5, we get 2 of them. I mean, it makes absolutely no friggin' sense. To me, that looks like a moneymaker.
Oh, that right there is, I mean, just imagine if one day they actually grew a brain and a backbone and we got something like that.
Well, and could you imagine if they this is just 16. You imagine if they peeled it to 24 and they gave, I mean, even 24 or 32, what that field would look like.
Right.
I mean, I just don't.
And that would be the new bowl games,
Yeah.
but
Get rid of bowl
because
season.
they can't be making much money on most of these bowls. And like we've all recognized, they're not going to be around much longer. Not in the format they're in now.
And how many bowl games did you watch last year where when they showed the crowd, there wasn't a couple thousand there, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In every one of these games, you don't think that the crowds aren't going to be big? I mean,
they're going to be big on every one of these. There's 8 games the first round. Huge crowds.
Well, the first round games would be at the home slots, right?
Yes.
Or no, or we're going to do okay.
Well, or they can do the both. I don't know. I'd rather have them at home. Like
the first round.
You should have USC at Indiana, Alabama at Oklahoma, BYU at Oregon, Texas at Texas Tech. Those crowds would be unreal.
Every one of those games would be a sellout.
Yeah.
No question. No question. Why is this so tough? I mean, the schools themselves, they talk about these bowl games like they were like, oh, when you talk about some of the Big 12 teams that didn't go, it's like, oh, these schools are missing out. No, they're not. It costs the schools a lot of money. They don't pay to take their players there, the cheerleaders, the staff, the equipment, all that stuff.
Yeah, the band,
all that stuff is accrued by the university. So acting like these schools telling the bowl games to go get effed is some big deal. It's not. And that's why I said I have zero problem with Notre Dame saying, screw it, we're not playing in your stupid bowl games. My problem was with Notre Dame and telling the ACC they should have supported them when Miami is in there. But, I mean, outside of that, I look at this, I'm like, what person with any type of football brain whatsoever would not look at this and say, wow, that does look a lot better.
I've got a problem with what Notre Dame did because it was a coward, spoiled brat move because, I think we all agree Notre Dame's a top 12 team. We agree. But Alabama got left out a few years ago. Florida State got left out a few years ago. Georgia got left out a couple of years ago. And they all went and did their thing. And for Notre Dame to say, well, screw you guys, I'm going home, with the little Cartman meme. I just have zero respect for that. And it's not that it's because we know the bowls are dying. They didn't do it for that reason. They did it for the reason they were butthurt. You know what I mean?
And I look at it this way. It's just one extra step to get the Bulls killed. And maybe they'll figure this out. Maybe.
Yeah, because all the good players are sitting out now anyways.
Yeah. I mean, it's like KJ. Houston goes to a bowl and 5 of your defensive starters and 6 of your offensive starters are out. Like, hey, we're going to go to the draft. We're getting ready for the combine. We're doing all that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, you're going to watch it because it's Houston, but is it really Houston?
No, it's not reflective of the same team that played the entire rest of the season.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. And then people look at those bowl games like, oh yeah, all year long. Houston was close, but they are who we thought they were because they got killed by, Team X in their bowl game.
See, I hated that about the Georgia-Florida State game because when Florida State's quarterback got hurt and they dropped him out of the playoffs, remember, because Jordan Travis or whatever got hurt.
Yep.
Yeah, Florida State played Georgia. Georgia was mad because Alabama knocked them out of the playoffs. But Florida State's whole, team basically set out. So Georgia was playing nothing but backups, and of course they wiped the field with them. And then everybody had said, see, Florida State didn't belong. Well, hell, that wasn't even their team.
Right.
I mean.
And I understand, like, I know what you're saying, Brett, about Notre Dame. They didn't do it for that reason. But again, when it comes to the Bulls, I could care less. Bulls are dead anyway. I mean, the Bulls have been dead for a long time. They've got to get this right. And the reason I say that they need to go to 24 teams is because of all the money that is pouring into college football. You have to have some slots in there that isn't just that isn't just going to be blue bloods that can crank up the money. Like you have to have a slot for a Houston, for example, that, hey, they've got a good team. They don't pay $25 million in nil, but they've got a good team, but they're never, ever quite, maybe they won't ever quite get to 12. But if they can get inside that 24, you see what I'm saying? And then, hey, it'll sort itself out. It'll sort itself out.
It definitely would, in that sense, from a dollars and cents standpoint, Eric, it helps sustain the parity that the general broader fan base would like to see. Like, you don't want necessarily 4 top juggernauts nationally. That revenue that comes from these bowl games and, however it's structured through the CFP or otherwise, is going to fund said schools that participate in them and their NIL respective
right.
need to bring in new talent and what have you.
I mean, that's what I think. I mean, I think it gives, and plus, let's use my former team. If Iowa State makes the 24-team field and they win a game, now all of a sudden there might be boosters out there say, hey, the football program got into the 24-team playoff, won a game. We need to crank this money up. Maybe we'll get to the next level. As opposed to the Texases who just spend, like you said, Brett, $35 million a year and don't even make it. And they're going to spend probably more next year. It's, I don't know.
Even if I was worth $2-3 billion and I would have trouble after a couple of years continuing to do that. If I'm that passionate about my team and it's not working, which, that's my temperament. If they want to continue just to throw it out the window, that's up to them,
But you have to understand this part is, Ed, Brett and I were talking about the billionaires. And God, Brett and I are like, 35 million, that's a ton of money. But when you start talking about billionaires, 35 million can damn near be a financial screw up here or there. They need money to donate anyway, taxes, and they don't want to pay tax on this or whatever. So 35 million to them isn't cut the check. 35 million to B would be like, oh my God, my life.
And you got to remember, you're talking about billionaires and stuff that there's enough of, maybe not billionaires, but upper millionaires. There's enough of them that to cut $1 million check or a $2 million check is, like you said, it's nothing but a tax write-off.
Yes, correct. And so that's why I don't think the money is maybe all that hard to find for some of these schools, especially, I'm saying in a couple of years, you're going to see Kansas on this. If this structure stays the same way, you're going to see Kansas on here.
The thing is you guys have always talked about the big oil money in Texas and the endless money bag. Well, you guys, Eric, we were talking about it earlier. When you look at the Big Ten and you look at schools like Ohio State and Michigan and those, they got endless bags of cash too. They've got alumni and their college is so big that they've got money. They've got endless money sources as well.
Right.
So to think it's just going to be the Texas schools is it's not going to just be.
No, what I'm saying is Michigan's always been a blue blood, for the most part. They've had some down times and whatever. Ohio State. That what I'm saying is you're going to have these schools like a Texas Tech who hasn't been good for a long time. All of a sudden they're sitting at 4.
TCU, Houston,
Kansas,
SMU.
It takes one billionaire to start pumping money into a program, and pretty soon these programs come out of nowhere. The problem is when you look at programs that don't have those kind of boosts, you're screwed because a lot of the blue bloods are always going to be there. It's just who are the new guys that are going to pop in to crash the party. Right. Well, when your team is just never going to have a shot to be that team that crashes it, because like Brett said, it's a miracle Indiana's done what they've done. Like, you've got to get the right coaching. Your money needs to be spent exactly right, that type of stuff. Because Indiana has 4 4-stars and Ohio State has 63 5 and 4 stars. That's crazy. And that just tells you the difference.
So when Todd's talking here about the NCAA having nothing to do with governing the CFP committee, is that the truth? Is that
even if it is, I don't know particularly one way or the other, but I would say even if that's true, Todd, we've already seen a case study of why we can't rely on them or expect them to do the right thing with a broader set of rules. They got to get this one smaller window fixed first. Then we'll give them more respect.
Yeah, in layman terms, let me go straight on you. The NCAA screws up everything they touch, is what KJ is referring to.
Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing is I think that, if we're going to go Wild West, then let's go Wild West. Let's make it 24.
Yep.
Let's open it up to 12 more teams. That if you listen at some point in time, if you can't crack the top 24, well, then your program's never going to do it, and that's okay.
And you've got to take the human element out of it.
Correct.
With the days of computers and the strength of schedules and all that kind of stuff, put in the parameters into the computer, come out with your weekly rankings, and that if you're in wherever the cutoff line is, as long as you're on the top half, you're good.
Yeah. So if you take if this, of course, this is not computer, and I don't know what a computer would look like here, but I mean this year, Ed, Iowa would be playing Ohio State in the first round. Or I guess it depends on how they have to set the buys up and everything. But, I mean, you would see a lot of programs.
You would have your top 8 teams would get a bye week.
Right.
And starting with 9. So
you'd be playing Miami.
Iowa would be playing Miami.
Yep. I mean, so I have zero problem with that.
Is that so much more attractive doing it? I mean, why, like we said, why is it just so hard for them?
I don't know. I think there's still an element of the NCAA and people like that change is hard. Change is scary. You mean to tell me we're not going to have the Holiday Bowl anymore? You mean to tell me that the Pop-Tart Bowl is not going to exist? You know what I mean? Like,
the Division II college and Division III, they've been doing this kind of a playoff for years. So it's like, what is so difficult?
30 years.
I'll say this from the viewpoint of someone who's been a perennial, underdog, lesser appreciated school fan. It's been a weird navigational cuss. When I started out as a kid, obviously, I think from ignorance, I just hated the BCS because, my school was never included in it. Then when I got older, did the research, even now more recently, looking back over, like, for instance, Houston's historic run, or his history in total, not historic run, history in total. Looking back in the BCS years, we had a couple where we were 1-2 spots out of contention of playing for a national championship in terms of the grading. So I look back on that system, and even though I hated it ignorantly in the past, I do think it makes more sense now than the crap we're wading through that's completely inconsistent, not structured well. And to your point, Eric, with the NIL funding, we would have a chance in certain years if it was, structured that way. And, so I would say even the underdogs, in a sense, should be rooting for this if they're in a position where NIL is going to benefit them.
And if they would follow what we're saying, I mean, if you look at it, number 23, Ed's Hawkeyes. Number 21, your Houston Cougars. Number 9, Brett's Alabama Crimson Tide. Roll, baby. And look at it, number 1, my Hoosiers, baby. So we would all be happy.
And in that case, KJ and myself, with that type of a field, there's a reward for a good season. I mean,
correct.
If Houston can go out on the recruiting trail and say, we made the college football playoffs last year, is that not going to help their recruiting?
Yeah. And it's going to help their money. It's going to help their recruiting. It's going to help everything.
To speak further to the dollars and cents component, and this will be the last thing I say on the matter. I'm not a football or basketball is not my number one favorite sport, but I'll say this. They're clearly doing something right. You can argue like Chad if you want to be a purist and, go, well, this truly isn't the best, blah, blah, blah. Okay, maybe that's true. But if it's all money driven, let's not lie to ourselves and look at the facts here. There's a reason you can take a basketball playoff format and fill football-sized stadiums with fans to watch the game.
Yep.
What is that, 4+ times the size of your normal capacity arena?
Yep.
If they can do that in basketball, it should just echo and be even more obvious that football needs the same type of structure.
Well, big basketball people that are not big basketball fans watch March Madness.
Right.
That's how big it is.
I am that person. Basketball is like one of my favorite sports. I don't follow the Cougs during the regular season because I'm too busy doing football and other stuff. And I'll start to watch the actual team play in March Madness. But that's the only time I ever watch basketball. So, like, yeah, in that same respect, it's a revenue.
We're making sense, guys.
Basketball.
So can you imagine, as they talk about a March Madness, you'd have a December Madness. Could you imagine Thursday through Sunday or Friday through Sunday or Thursday through Saturday? I don't care.
Yeah.
But you had a slate of games like they do on Saturday where you have a late morning, mid-afternoon, and a night game.
Oh.
On Thursday, Friday, and Saturday for the first round of the playoffs. That something like that wouldn't be huge. I mean, overnight it would be just as big as March Madness.
No question. Just with the 2014 playoff, overnight it would be crazy. And if you went to 32, which, you can argue whatever number you want, I'd be fine with 32 too. I mean, then everybody plays all the way through. It takes you what? You got the fifth game to win. Fifth game is for it all. I mean, yeah, are you going to have some snoozers in there? But here's the deal. You are also, every game freaking matters. Yep. Every single game matters in this field that we're showing right here. Every single game. It doesn't matter if it's James Madison playing Alabama. Based on these rankings, James Madison would be in. Okay. Now, I would put $1 million on Alabama to win that game, but it's still a game that matters. And if Alabama screws up, well, I guess they're out. Yeah. I mean, like, every game would matter.
You know what else matters, Eric?
What?
The first hour is over with. We have an opportunity. We have an opportunity to somewhat stay on course tonight.
I think we should.
I think we need to get to our one pick, our one college pick of the week.
For the week.
The most historic week of college football in the history of man.
This is a game that no matter what their record is, everybody wants to see this game, and the focus is put on this game every year. Now, my dad was a 20-year retired from the Army so I'm biased. I'm rooting for Army no matter what.
Same.
So I'll go out on a limb, and I'll be the first one to make my pick. Go Army, baby.
Ed's got Army. What about you, Brett?
My brother did 6 years in the Army and was in Desert Storm and all that good stuff. Stationed in Lawton, Oklahoma, Fort Sill. I don't want to jinx his Army, so I'm picking Navy. Maybe Army can pull an upset.
I know who KJ's picking.
Sorry, KJ.
No, I ain't mad about it. Long family history of naval service. My grandfather was SBD pilot in World War II, one of the last planes to fly off the USS Yorktown before it got sunk by the Japanese.
Wow.
Tons of awesome stories. If you look at pretty much pick any naval history book at random, and you will find a photo of a SBD Dauntless flying over the island of Midway. That's my grandfather's plane. So not to claim fame or anything because it isn't me, but strong naval pride within my family. So yeah, that's who I'm rooting for.
And I look at my dad's scrapbooks of his days in Vietnam and Korea and Germany, and you just see the pictures of him with little Korean kids on his lap at Christmas time, and he's giving them a present and stuff like that. It's a life that you and I, none of the four of us ever could envision or even have any idea of. So Army's always been near and dear to his heart. He doesn't ever miss the game either. So I'm right there with him.
Well, I had two grandfathers. Obviously, Ed's dad is my grandpa. And obviously in the Army. My other grandfather was in the Army. But it's at Navy. Navy's going to win this game.
Well, that just goes to show you, KJ,
I
that
mean,
you're putting the heat on him. He can't afford to.
No!
He can't afford to go with his heart. He's got to just
I will
throw.
admit, this
He's
is
got
one
to
of those
throw his
games.
grandpas in the scrap heap. He's got to just. Their lives never mattered.
it's got nothing
It's
to do
all
with the
that kind of
football
stuff.
game.
He's just got to take Navy
Jesus.
because, my God, heaven forbid you make up a game on him. See, that's how
Actually,
shallow. That's how shallow that pick is.
As good a week as KJ had last week compared to the rest of us, I mean, running across the bottom of the screen, I'm just going to follow KJ's picks from here on out. My God, he creamed us last week. Creamed us. I mean, I don't know what to say, man.
And that was with me taking Georgia. That's the only reason I had a game up on YouTube.
I don't know what it is, but last year we could have a 12-1, a 10-3. You'd pick games, and I mean, you was always going to come out on the good end of things. This year, you can pick games that you actually think about and spend time on, and have a 3-7 week like I had last week. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Ed, I mean, here's what I'm saying, Ed. Henry, Navy. Big Mike, Navy. John David, Navy.
I'll say in the general sense, the
Marty, Army. You and Marty are on an island.
In years past, if you look at the teams and how they've done this year. So I definitely think Navy stands a more notable, distinct advantage. But in the years past, when they were, say, closer in their records and, general performance through the year, you had ripe landscape for upsets. And they've happened, obviously, many times throughout their history, facing each other head-to-head. So definitely got to go into that game with the right mindset from the player's point of view, because if they don't, the other team will capitalize. That's just a fact.
Right.
Well, let's go to a word from our sponsor. And when we come back, we'll get into the NFL segment, but in this short commercial time, I got to call my dad and get him off the ledge because he's probably ready to come through the screen on Eric. So,
love you, Grandpa.
We will be.
Didn't wait for that.
Yeah, we will be right back.
Man, you want to talk about being on time for once.
I feel bad. I see John David's in the comment line, and I wish he'd have been in the comment line a lot earlier, because I would have sent him a link and we could have brought him on to help us with the opposing view.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're glad to see that he's joining us anyway. So
it would have been nice to have an opposing view.
That's right. So let's get into the NFL.
I saw Chad pop on, but I don't see him anymore. So it's NFL time. All right. I think what we'll start off with, just to get the thing going here, is this week's power rankings. I made some big adjustments, and the adjustments were more of eye test, what they've proven or not proven, and where I have them sitting. I think eye test wise, I think the Rams are far and away the best team. You know, if I were to compare the Rams to the Patriots, I would say the Patriots this week playing Buffalo could go a long ways to convince me that they are a legit team. If Buffalo comes out and beats the New England at home, you know, they've played one team with a winning record in their last, I don't know, 8 to 10 games, whatever it is. Well, since the last time they played Buffalo, they played one game, so whatever, 8, 9 games. So that's the difference between the two, but you got to give the Patriots their flowers at this point because they can only play their schedule. The Packers at 3, even though, like I said, it makes me want to throw up, but, you know, I get it. They were at home, but, you know, the reason I put Chicago at 7 is because Chicago went into Lambeau and gave Green Bay everything they can handle. And if you watch the national news, you know, the national sports news, whether it be Fox, ESPN, whatever, they believe Green Bay is going to win the Super Bowl. Like, you just listen to them. It's like, oh, Green Bay to the Super Bowl, da-da-da. Well, you know, Chicago went into Green Bay and gave them all it can handle, and all we heard was, you know, Chicago is overrated. They're overrated. Well, I don't think they are. That game, like I said, I'm happy with the way the season is now, let alone going into Green Bay and playing them and giving them all they had, you know, and taking it down to the wire. The Broncos, you know, this week, Green Bay and Denver face off at Denver. So, you know, that'll be a test for both of them. You know, one of the things, and this is why, you know, with the Bears game, the Bears just cannot put pressure on a quarterback. We're just lacking a few dudes up front. The Denver Broncos can put pressure on people. And Jordan Love's numbers when there's pressure on him, when he's sacked, you know, 3-4 times, his numbers go down. Denver has that ability. They have a game-wrecking defense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens between Green Bay and Denver in that game out in the Mile High City. Seattle at 5, you know, if they don't turn the ball over and Sam Darnold does not, you know, put the ball on the ground, Seattle's good in all phases of football. You know, Seattle, I wouldn't want to play Seattle because, I mean, if Sam Darnold doesn't turn it over, you're in for a game. You know, San Francisco, they keep winning. I think they're getting healthier. The only question mark, you know, when you start getting past a certain number here, there's a question mark. And the question mark at San Francisco is, you know, they've just lost so much on the defensive side. Can they compete with an LA, with a New England, you know, defensively, for example? I talked about why I moved the Bears up to 7. Like I said, they went into Lambeau against the vaunted Green Bay defense and damn near pulled it out. They make a tackle there and hold the Green Bay to a field goal. Who knows what that game ends up being, but they blew some tackles and it is what it is. Buffalo, I can't figure out Buffalo. This is Josh Allen's year. I don't see Kansas City up here. I don't see Joe Burrow and the Bengals up here. And I only see the Ravens barely in the hunt over there in Lamar Jackson. If Josh Allen cannot take Buffalo with those quarterbacks that look like they're not going to be in the playoff picture whatsoever, to me, this is a make or break year for Buffalo. It is a make or break year. If they don't get it done this year, I don't think they're ever going to get it done.
You got the attention of Brett's counterpart, because the minute you said if it doesn't happen this year for Buffalo, it'll never happen, and the old black cat popped up right behind his head.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. What are you talking about? You know,
Nah,
so
she sees that Panther over there. She's like, nah, they're going to overtake the Bucks.
Yeah. So Buffalo.
I agree.
Buffalo has to get it done. This is the year. There's no Patrick Mahomes, probably no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow. On the AFC side of things, they have got to get it done this year.
But having said that, Eric, with no Lamar Jackson, no Patrick Mahomes, no Joe Burrow, you know, to me, the NFC is stacked compared to the AFC.
Right.
Yeah.
But yet, your rankings don't reflect that. Your rankings reflect that the AFC is almost toe and toe
Well,
with the NFC, which I just don't agree with.
no, here's why the rankings fall where they are. You have what are they, 11-2 New England, or are they 11-2 or 10-2?
Yeah.
11-2.
They've got 2 losses.
New
Yeah.
England's
Yeah.
11-2.
And you have Denver, who also sitting at the same thing. I mean, listen, you play an NFL schedule and you're sitting at 11-2. You are what you're in the immortal words of Bill Parcells, you are what your record says you are. So even though I believe that the NFC is stacked compared to the AFC, I can't look at an 11-2 New England and say, well, I believe that if you played Seattle tomorrow, Seattle beat you. I mean, I'm not going to put I'm just simply not going to put the Patriots at 5 and bump NFC teams up. I mean, you are what your record says you are. And so that's why I have the AFC teams where I do. Here's the problem.
Yeah, I think from top to bottom, there's no question the NFC is stronger.
Yes. Here's the problem.
But using that argument, 3 weeks ago, you'd have said Indianapolis was a top 5 team because their record, they are what their record says they are.
Right.
What's happened to them? I mean,
yeah, they lose a quarterback and to an Achilles for the season, and yeah, I understand it. And those things can happen to anybody. But I think that at the top, the NFC is so solid, and who knows? Lots of things could change, but the NFC is solid. So I just saw Chad pop on. We got to bring Chad on here.
There he is.
There he is.
Well, I tell you what, Chad, it's a good thing that you weren't here for hour 1, because
whoa. Hour 1. So it was 1 hour. You guys kept it
pretty
1
much.
hour?
Yeah, we cut it off.
That's what happens when you take 4 conference rankings and no longer need them.
Yeah. When the power rankings disappeared, all of a sudden we're in an hour with college. It was kind of nice.
Okay.
But you missed out. We had the field expanded to 32, 64 teams.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We made a very compelling argument while you were not on the show.
Yeah, it makes sense. I bet. I believe it. You know, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
I mean, don't even have a regular season. The whole regular season's just a tournament. Oh,
right.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's what we have already.
Yeah,
Oh.
we're good with that. So Chargers at number 9. Somehow, I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the game the other night. How does Justin Herbert just get absolutely blasted game in and game out and still function? I mean,
I can't believe they didn't pull him.
When we picked that game, I mean, here's a guy.
I mean, he just got hammered.
Yeah, hand surgery that week, and comes out and beats Philadelphia.
Well, that was a hell of a game, when they talked to Jim Harbaugh on his post-game press conference. He equated that win to the day he got married, the day that his kids were born. I
mean, that's Jim Harbaugh. He's a little out there on that kind of stuff.
Well, look, his right-hand man was Sharon Moore. What's his name?
Yeah, Sharon Moore. But
Sharon,
the Texans are crawling up there. I mean, their defense is a problem. You want to talk about putting heat on a quarterback? They can put heat on the quarterback. And gosh, if CJ Stroud and the offense could just get anything going, Texans are going to be a real problem. I really do think that.
What about the physicality of those games Sunday and Monday night? I thought I was back in the late 80s, early 90s. I was like, now this is football.
Yeah, there were some big hits. And rounding out
that's the big if about Houston, and it's a massive if that offense can do anything.
Right.
Yes, correct.
I mean, CJ Stroud is not who we thought he was.
Yeah, no, not even close. He is an Ohio State quarterback, so I guess we got to give him that. And rounding out what I consider to be the good teams, Jacksonville, they've been kind of a roller coaster. Beat Kansas City, lose to Atlanta by 30, but it seems like they've kind of righted the ship a little bit, and it looks like the Jags are headed to the playoffs. And then these last three teams, I'm telling you, Philadelphia looks like they are on the verge of 2 years ago.
Falling apart. They're falling apart. Yeah.
Offensively, they and I know, Chad, Jalen Hurts is your boy, but oh my God. The Alabama guy knew that he wasn't the NFL guy, but I mean, he had 2 turnovers in one freaking play. That's damn tough to do.
Well, that is tough to do. That was some old NFL folly shit right there.
like we're playing football in the backyard.
Then
you expected them to start playing the I expected them to burst out with the Keystone Cops music from the silent movie.
Yeah.
Then they had Colin Cowherd come out today, and he strictly went on height, man. He put all the quarterbacks' height up on the screen and basically said Jalen Hurts can't measure up just because he's not tall enough. You got to at least be 6'4" in today's NFL to be a successful quarterback.
I will tell you this. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but if you look at the NFL today, what's happened with Kyler Murray? I think Kyler Murray has taken his last snap in Arizona. Kyler Murray is an undersized quarterback. Tua, he can throw a deep ball. Tua's got some ability, but he's undersized. And it just
Baker.
Bryce Young. There's another one. Jay pointed Bryce Young out. I mean, it's not saying that they're not good, but Brock Purdy's another one. He's ran into the injury bug.
Brock Purdy is not being tall.
He's undersized. And it's like these quarterbacks are taking beatings, even though they've put in all these rules where you can't put weight on them. You can't, all that kind of stuff. They're still taking beatings. And I think,
thank you, the 17-game schedule.
That's part of it too. But
I think a lot of it is they're just offensive line, especially offensive tackle, is one of the most difficult positions to play in all of sports.
Right.
It takes so much skill, and there just aren't enough. And, when there's 28 teams, it's easier to fill those positions. When it's 30 teams, it's easier to fill. And then when it's 32, it gets to be really hard to fill those spots.
I mean, we're 3 of us are UFL fans, and we can attest that the weakest position every year in spring football is offensive line. Them trying to field an offensive line, that's usually. I mean, they really struggle.
Yeah, I mean, so these last few spots. I mean, you got Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, who beat the Ravens. I was surprised by that. I think we all were, as we all took the Ravens. And then Tampa Bay. Oh my God, Tampa Bay gets beat by the New Orleans Saints.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
who dat? What? I mean, I realize Baker Mayfield's probably not 100%, but good Lord, what are we doing here, Tampa Bay? I mean, you got 2 games coming up with the Carolina Panthers that are on your heels, and then the Lions, the Cowboys, the Ravens, and the Panthers in the hunt. The biggest problem is, Tampa Bay is flawed. Pittsburgh's flawed. Philadelphia is clearly flawed. Jacksonville, it's consistency. Texans, it's on offense. The Chargers, can that offensive line hold up to where Herbert even finishes the year? Buffalo, they got to score 30-plus points to win games. Chicago's defense is not quite there because we can't put any pressure on the quarterback. San Francisco's got questions on defense because they've lost Bosa. They've lost Wagner. I mean, they've lost their guys, like their dudes. Sam Darnold in Seattle, can he keep it together and not put the ball on the ground? Bo Nix is the big question mark in Denver. Green Bay, it was offensive. They've kind of righted the ship. Can they keep that? Can they did this last year. They right the ship and everybody's like Green Bay, Green Bay, Green Bay. They get into the playoffs, puke job. The biggest thing with New England is, have they been tested enough to really say, okay, New England is the dude. They are the dude that their record says they are. That's why when I look at LA, they're the most complete, but let's be honest. They are one massive hit on Matthew Stafford away from being dead in the water. I mean,
yeah.
But I think as of right now, with Matthew Stafford healthy, LA is probably the most complete team with less question marks than any of these other teams in the power rankings.
Can we have a moment of silence for the Kansas City Chiefs, which I do not see on this list?
When I was putting the power rankings together, I watched all day long. When I got back to the office today from getting some orders taken, I sat down, I turned it on, and I was going through it. I'm like, man, these people on Fox, especially Nick Wright, he's like, listen, they're not technically dead. And they're going through all scenarios of what it would take for Kansas City to stay alive and Kansas City can make the playoffs. I'm just like, guys, it's over. Like,
It's over.
They got healthy. All their receivers came back, and they can't make it go. I mean, they just cannot make it go.
And when they're 5-5, well, they can run the table. They're 5-6, then they're 6-6. Well, they can run the table. Then they're 6-7. It's like, at what point do you realize that a 500 team is a 500 team? They're not just going to all of a sudden run the table when you've been a 500 team the whole season.
What about that game by Chris Jones the other night? My God. That man kept them in that game single-handedly.
Yeah. Chris Jones was the only one that showed up for that game of their big studs in Kansas City. This is the Kansas City dynasty right now. The Kansas City dynasty it's going to blow. And the thing about it is, so if you ask yourself this, when it comes to the Kansas City dynasty, yes, you're going to have Patrick Mahomes, obviously. But what's it going to cost you to even get back to relevance? What's it going to cost you?
Look, they've been dragging.
Right, you answer that, Brett, and I'll be right back.
They've been dragging Kelsey around the field for 2 years now. Yes, he got a little hot around playoff time. But to me, Kelsey's just a liability out there at this point, and that's really hurt them offensively, just from what I've seen.
Yeah, they're inconsistent and not very good running game is really hurting them. And Kelsey's not playing that good. All this draft capital they've spent on wide receivers hasn't panned out. Rashee Rice, I mean, he's a quality number 2 on most teams. They
don't have a number 1. They don't have a number 1.
And the line, isn't what it used to be. So they've got a lot of holes to fill in. I mean, they were really going to test in the offseason their ability to try and fill some of these holes and make some of these tough decisions. Are they going to be able to say, Travis, you can play next year. It's just not going to be here. We love you. You could be in our ring of honor. You are beloved chief of all time, but you're not playing here next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have to.
And I think Xavier Worthy, too, is nothing more than a number 3 receiver at this point. And I think they had a lot higher hopes for him.
Yeah.
They had a lot higher hopes for a lot of them. They have blown a lot of picks on receiver, and it just hasn't worked out.
They have
very unfortunate.
Tried to replace Tyreek Hill, haven't they?
Yeah. Yes, they have. They have desperately tried to replace Tyreek Hill. They tried to replace Tyreek Hill before they traded him away when they drafted Harmon, or what was his name. And that kid never panned out. They keep bringing back these guys after they cut them.
Yeah,
Juju.
Schuster.
Yeah,
those guys.
Sky Moore was supposed to be and he was a complete flop.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I said,
and then their inability, Andy Reid's biggest fault since he was with Philly is he falls too much in love with the pass and doesn't run the ball enough. So the teams
They can't run the ball.
the run.
They can't run.
Well, they don't try. They really
Right.
don't try.
Right, but they just can't.
So
I think
you
that's
still
part
got to
of it.
make them respect the run, and they don't even try.
Yeah. They're not doing that. Sometimes you just have to pound it and keep them honest.
I mean, that's the biggest thing is, and I agree with you, Big Mike, the Chiefs run is over. I mean, and the thing of it is, like normally with dynasties, and the Chiefs were a dynasty, there's no doubt about it. You see, the dynasty starts, and the Chiefs started really quick. Like there wasn't even like a gradual. It was just kind of like this.
Right.
But just like it started, that's how quick it's coming down. There's no gradual taping off to, oh, you mean the Chiefs aren't in the AFC Championship this year? What happened? Oh, they lost in the round before. Well, and then they lose in the first round, and then the dynasty tapers. No, they are going from here to here.
But what a run, though.
I'd take that run in a heartbeat.
Yep.
I would take that run in a heartbeat.
Yep, no doubt about it. And it's not over. It's not. It doesn't necessarily. It doesn't mean like in 2 or 3 years. I mean, when you have Patrick Mahomes,
correct. You got quarterback right.
Put pieces around him, you can make it right. I think I saw something where people are like clamming for Reid to either retire or get fired, and I'm just like, are these people insane?
Well, absolutely insane.
Yeah, here's the problem, and I'm going to ask you this since you brought it up, Chad. I'm going to ask you this, and if I can find it here,
I may answer you. Maybe I won't.
Maybe you won't. If I look from the game against Houston, this is Patrick Mahomes' line from the Houston game. Now you can say, and I've said this already, Houston's defense is phenomenal. They are full of hitters, and I mean they get after the football wherever they're at. But in the past, that really hasn't mattered to Patrick Mahomes. He finds ways, right?
Yep.
This is Patrick Mahomes' line from the Houston game. 14 of 33, 160 yards, 4.8 average, 0 touchdowns, 3 picks. He was sacked twice for 12 yards. So my question is it frustration on Patrick Mahomes' part that he's having these types of games? Like what is it? Because
they had a makeshift line though for that game. I mean, they had, and then another one of their offensive linemen went down almost right away in the first quarter.
First play.
I mean, they had second and third stringers starting for them, so it doesn't surprise me.
Right, but
they struggle.
My question is this though. Justin Herbert has that same thing in San Diego. 4 years ago, Justin Fields probably had the worst line the Chicago Bears have ever fielded. You know what they never said? They never made excuses for Justin Fields. When you're getting paid that kind of money, I know there's things in Kansas City that aren't right up front, no running game, that kind of thing. But you're Patrick Mahomes.
He's not even 30 yet, is he? How old is Patrick Mahomes? Can someone look?
Patrick Mahomes is in his ninth season, so he's got to be close to 30.
Here's my take. My take is he's not taking what the defense gives him. He feels like he's got to make boom plays all the time. So he's not taking the underneath stuff. When he does, it's to people who can't do anything with it, or they drop it, or it's 3rd and 15, hit somebody for 7.
Right.
You know, he's
30, by the
playing
way.
hero ball because he's a fucking hero. He's a stud. So he's trying to make that happen, and it's not happening. Doesn't have the talent around him. Doesn't have the receivers on the outside. He doesn't have Tyreek Hill. When they traded him away, I said, this is a massive mistake. They're going to miss this guy. You can't replace him. There's no such thing as replacing Tyreek Hill. And now, now they'll probably pull a trade for him in the offseason, which is stupid because now he's old and he's broken all the time.
Right.
And so it's
And Tyreek Hill even comes out and says that was a big mistake he made in his career.
yeah.
Mhm.
He wanted that bag of money, and once he took the bag of money,
It's
he
too
went
late.
to a team that was irrelevant.
Well, and the
Yep.
thing about it is, the thing about Kansas City is this, and then we'll move on. But, I have watched, I know they don't have any Super Bowls. I'm not even arguing that. But I have watched Josh Allen do it with, who's the
Far
last,
left.
who's
Far
the
left.
last true number one that Josh Allen has had? That in true number one in their prime, if you will. I'm not comparing to Tyreek Hill. In Tyreek Hill's prime, he was he was unreal. I'm just saying, tell me who Josh Allen has had, and Josh Allen has made it work.
Well,
And Josh Allen has always
Stephon
played
Diggs
without a
was-
defense on the other
Stephon
side.
Diggs was the number one, but Stephon Diggs got, full of himself, and he wanted his bag of money.
Correct. So Josh Allen has done it for a while now too, and he hasn't had the number ones.
Josh Allen brings something that not very many quarterbacks bring to the table. He brings 6'5", 250 pounds, runs like a deer,
Yep.
and athletic as all hell. That's what he brings that most other quarterbacks don't.
That kind of goes back to what Colin Cowherd was saying.
A guy that came close to that was Cam Newton, and Josh Allen is a far superior
Pastor.
throwing quarterback compared to Cam Newton.
Thanks, Jay.
Yeah.
Jay. I'll take it. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
But more importantly, would you quit clicking that, Ed? We're making Jay proud. We're actually talking about the Bills, and I'm giving them credit because here's the deal: I would take Josh Allen in a heartbeat.
Here's my fear with the Bills on Jay's behalf. You said it correctly, Eric. If it's ever a year for Josh Allen to take the Bills to the Super Bowl, it's this year. But the problem is, whoever comes out of the NFC is going to be a complete team.
Correct.
And Buffalo don't have the receivers. They don't have the defenders. And I fear that Buffalo would end up in the Super Bowl and losing again. I can't believe they didn't go out and get a couple more free agents on the defensive side of the ball, before the trade deadline.
I saw a stat today. The NFL, when giving up 30-plus points, I think it was this year, but I can't say for sure. But the number was the entire NFL is 22 and 60 something when your defense gives up 30 plus points. Buffalo is 3-1. So I don't worry so much about the offensive side of the ball. It's the defense that's going to cost Buffalo.
Yeah.
And the head coach, isn't he a defensive guy?
Man, they ain't got they just don't have any dudes on that defensive side of the ball. They really don't.
Jay, I'm telling you, dude, you got to fire that head coach, Jay. You got to bring somebody else in. It's
got to be an offensive guy.
You're not. You might go to the Super Bowl this year, Jay. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. You're not winning it, dude. You're gonna if you make it, you're 0-5. It's not happening. History is peeing in your face, Jay.
Well, he's used to that. He's an Auburn fan, but that's for another segment.
Right.
McDermott's got to go.
Yeah,
got to go.
because not only does it fall under Chad's stat that he's used for a long time, that Nick Wright on First Things First clearly watches the bottom line and stole it from Chad. As I heard Nick Wright say this after I've been hearing Chad say this for years, when a coach and a quarterback are together for more than 5 years, they're not winning a Super Bowl together. And here, well, Brett, I mean, I don't know what you said. Must have been the Auburn comment. So.
I don't think you said that. I don't think you said it. He must have just been looking at you.
I think it was the Auburn comment and peeing.
Yeah, it was the Auburn comment.
Yeah. But I mean that stat, I mean, for Buffalo's sake, for Josh Allen's sake, I think he's a great quarterback. And with these quarterbacks that we have consistently seen in the playoffs, we have consistently seen in the AFC Championship aren't there, and Buffalo can't get it done this year, Patrick Mahomes ain't going to disappear forever. Nope. Lamar Jackson, listen, John Harbaugh, I think John Harbaugh is gone.
I think so too. He's got to be.
He's got to be. And now that may change Baltimore for the better. I mean, there's things that are changing that if Buffalo don't get with it, they're all of a sudden going to be back behind the 8 ball again. And I think McDermott is a big part of that.
And here's yes, he is. And the other thing to think about, Jay, is this was your window might be closed because the big daddy of the AFC East looks like they're back. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do with the Patriots?
Oh God. Do we listen, guys? Vrabel's a phenomenal coach. Drake May could end up being in 6 years. We could be talking about Drake May being the best quarterback out of that class.
Didn't the Vikings pass up on Drake May?
Yeah, I think they did. Ed.
Drake May went.
Did he go before?
To the top.
Or was it Bo Nix? They passed on Bo Nix.
It was Bo Nix that got past us.
Yes, I can see that.
That would have been a better option too.
Yeah, I can see why Minnesota would.
Nine looked okay last Sunday. 9 did all right.
He's teasing them. He's throwing out little caveats. Well, it's the Bengals defense.
He's just taking it and slapping against it and rubbing it around.
Yeah, he's tickling them a little bit with it, and Minnesota
a lot of you though.
Just tapping on that door handle.
1 week he'll have a QBR of like 30, and the next week he'll throw a touchdown pass, and coming off the field he's going.
Yeah, that's weird to me, man. Like that is weird to me. That is so weird to me that he has like this alter ego. Like
I scared Brett right off the screen.
Yeah, Brett's like, oh, he's talking about that. We got to get out of that. But okay, let's look at because I think we got the power. Oh, let's look at the current playoff picture. You want to talk about how volatile the NFC is? Last week, the playoff picture had the Bears as the 1 seed. This week, they're the 7 seed. The AFC, not much change.
But if Chicago takes care of business against Cleveland this weekend, next week they're in a position to go right back up there to 1 or 2 seed.
Yeah, I mean that's the NFC is definitely the tougher road. I mean, you look at those games. Other than Brett's back. I don't know what Brett was doing. Yeah,
natives were breathless.
Oh, but there's how it sits. LA's back at the 1 seed. You got Green Bay and Chicago, San Francisco and Philadelphia, and Seattle and Tampa Bay. You want to talk about defaults. We could easily have a team, and you say the NFC is stacked. -1 division, I think. We could have 2 teams in the NFL playoffs with losing records.
Brett, why are the 2 worst divisions in the NFL both the Dirty South? What's up with that?
Man, it's been trending that way for quite a while, man. Well, I guess we'll just stick with our college ball.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I thought you guys knew ball down there in the Dirty South. What's up?
Man, my phone hasn't rang. If one of them would give me a call, I'll show them I'll show them player evaluation. I'll show them who to draft, who not to draft, but they don't ask old Bert. So, they can just keep on losing until I get my first check.
Till I get my first check. Standings as they are, there's the NFC. Philadelphia, Green Bay, Rams. I mean, you look at those divisions. Dallas has tightened it up because Philadelphia has lost their mind. Dallas has a shot there. Green Bay, Chicago, Detroit, they're close. Rams, Seattle, San Francisco, they're close. And then you look at the NFC South. It's close, but it's close with 7-6 would put you, I guess it would technically put you in second place in the East. It would put you in fourth place in the North, and it would put you in fourth place in the West. And, of course, where's Chicago located? In one of those two toughest divisions. That's just how it is for us boys, I mean, but yeah, that's the NFC. Go ahead.
Who would have thought Carolina would be sitting there at 7-6? Did anybody think that? Did anybody think at the beginning of the season that Carolina was going to come anywhere close to 7 wins?
That would have been that's as crazy as your preseason prediction of Arizona winning 10 games. Like that is like out there, man.
you better, are you still under my hypnotic spell from last year?
No. Oh my God.
No?
Anyway, AFC, moving on.
You still haven't remembered, huh?
New England, 11-2, 2-game lead. That could be shrunk by a game if Buffalo can go into New England and prove that New England's not who we think they are. Pittsburgh, with a win over Baltimore, takes sole possession of first place in the North. Denver, Chargers. We thought maybe that would be a 3-team race, but I've got Kansas City completely out. And then the South, unfortunately for Indianapolis, I think they're cooked. But how big a story would it be, boys, if, we know the story, out for the season, Daniel Jones, right? What would it be like if we have a Flacco situation with this guy? 44-year-old Phillip Rivers signed to the practice squad of the Colts to work out and see if he can give it a go. The master trash talker, Phillip Rivers. What if he comes in like Flacco did with the Browns and he saves the day?
Yeah, and what if my aunt had nuts? She'd be my uncle.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, this is the craziest shit ever. The man has got an AARP card in his back pocket. He's a grandpa. This is not a smart move for his health. His wife and children and grandchild should be very angry with him. This man needs to give it up. Quit chasing the dragon. You're not going to get a Super Bowl. It's over, bud. It's done.
That may be.
He is too old, too slow. He doesn't keep himself in shape like Brady.
No.
He's not. Doesn't have the line in front of him Brady had in Tampa. This is a bad move.
All he did was delay his Hall of Fame nomination another time.
Well, he wasn't a first ballot anyway.
He's not a first ballot, but it's going to be 5 more years before he gets on the ballot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I bet you he plays.
Was there anyone else that they could sign? Is the quarterback situation that slim right now?
Hey, the Vikings released Max Brosmer. So what? Brosmer is available.
Are you serious?
I believe so. Yeah,
there you go, Big Mike. Old Colin Kaepernick. Yep, that's who they could do.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They've been showing his photo for 10 years.
More bad news, Brett, for the guy who you wanted the Bears to draft.
But what did I tell you? My fear was with him.
Yes, that he can't stay healthy, and that seems to be the case. He re-aggravated his elbow, so he has been ruled out. So that should. I mean, that should help the Eagles as they play the Commanders twice in the next 4 weeks. That should help the Eagles limp to the playoffs, should it not?
It will be limping. That whole situation up there again is crashing and burning.
I mean, here's the deal. The Eagles, Saquon Barkley, Antonio Brown, Monte Smith, more athletes on the defense than you can possibly imagine. Don't come crying to me that you lost Lane Johnson and that has somehow just totally screwed your whole offense up. Like you said at the beginning, Brett, and I think you're right. The Eagles have the best roster in the NFL, and they absolutely look like a dumpster fire.
That I think they won the Super Bowl last year in spite of that head coach.
I think you're right.
Sirianni is he might possibly need to go into a mental ward. He is crazy. He is crazy.
He's a walking asshat. He's the NFL version of Chip, not Chip Kelly, Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly. I will tell you this though. We know Philadelphia. We know Philadelphia fans. I watched the Bears game, as I think the three of you did. They were booing in the first quarter.
Yeah.
They have now dropped 3 in a row. They're going to want heads to roll regardless of what happens the rest of the season. And I'm going to tell you this much, and I know you disagree with this, Chad, but Jalen Hurts is not a good football quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. If he does not have a run game, which you at the beginning of the year, Chad, said Saquon Barkley is not going to be the same guy. They ran that mule last year to win the Super Bowl. He's not going to be the same guy, and you were dead right. But where I believe you're dead wrong, Jalen Hurts is not a very good NFL quarterback. He's not. I mean, I believe that just from the fact that he had a great game in the Super Bowl. None of us can doubt that. None of us can doubt that part of it. But man, and did he not just look lost out there? That can't just be Sirianni, can it, Chad? I mean, he looked in that Chargers game. He looked bad. Is it a culture thing? Like make it make sense to me why you believe Hurts. I mean,
I wonder if he's not healthy.
Maybe he's not healthy, but there's something going on. He just did not look very good at all.
Well, I think when you have a coach that will get into screaming matches with fans behind the bench, you've got a problem, and that's going to affect everything. When he has zero composure, that's a problem. He has to be present. He has to be there. He's the head coach. He's the one who tells everybody, ignore that stuff. We don't care about that stuff. And he's sitting there getting into a screaming match with fans in the stands. I mean, so is Hurts one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time? No. Is he a Hall of Famer? Probably not. Is he really good? I think he is.
And you could be right. I mean, it could be just a total dumpster fire in Philadelphia. Maybe Philadelphia is not a fit for Jalen Hurts, even though he's got a Super Bowl there. I think Sirianni is gone. Oh, I think so too.
Unless they somehow win the Super Bowl again, he's gone. I mean, they can make the playoffs. They can win a playoff game. He is gone.
I mean, they got a Super Bowl roster. We know that.
But he has just lost this. Jalen Carter sounds like he's all but checked out. Like, what is going on?
He said he didn't play last week. He didn't play against the Chargers because of they called it a back. But I think it's probably more of a healthy scratch. I think he was just more like, I don't even want to play. My back's killing me. But Ed, don't you think that the total just discombobulation of the offense, it has to be bleeding over to that defense?
Well, Hurts has to be. I kind of wonder if he's hurt. And I say that because he used to run. He used to tuck the ball away and run. and he's a big dude, and they talk about how much he can bench and how
Yeah.
strong he is and everything. He's not running.
No,
He is not running at all, and he's turning into a pocket quarterback, and I think it's exposing him because part of his game that made him a great quarterback that Chad talks about, he's not utilizing anymore.
Yeah. And that's funny. My brother hopped on the Philadelphia bandwagon a few years ago when they started drafting a lot of Alabama players, and me and him talked about that. I think it was Sunday night, about how, I don't know why, but Jalen's not running anymore. They're not running him anymore. There's no design runs. And I said, well, hell, he's getting a little age on him. He might be a little banged up. This is the NFL. Very easily, because Jalen typically don't slide.
Let's talk a second too. I wanted to bring this up weeks ago. When you have a receiver and he's defenseless, they talk about the defenders that come in and do the helmet to helmet, right? You tell me, when they talk about the tush push and they do that, it used to be once or twice a game. Then it got to where it's 4 or 5 times a game to watch them do the tush push. He is a human pinball in those tush push. I mean, every time it's hiked to him, he's got force coming from behind him and in front of him.
Yeah.
And don't tell me that there ain't helmet to helmet going on. And it's not just the quarterback. It's the linemen. It's the linebackers. It's everybody helmet to helmet to helmet. So as they talk about should they get rid of the tush push, I'm surprised that they haven't talked to the excessive helmet to helmet hits that are going on in the tush push. And it would just automatically be thrown out because there's no way that is a safe play.
I know this is something Eric can really speak to. He's used to being on all fours, taking it, getting just pinched from both ends. So I'm interested to see what Eric's take on this is.
Well, they talk about the helmet to Jesus.
You watch the tush push. I'm telling you, there's half a dozen from each side of the line.
Yeah,
it gives Eric their heads into the other.
It gives Eric PTSD.
It's the thing with that play, and it gives you free shots at Jalen Hurts every single time. If I'm a defender and even if he's going to get that yard, I'm taking my helmet right here and I'm putting it on his.
Yep.
Every single time, because that's not a call they're going to make.
No,
he's a runner.
Nothing but a human pinball.
He's a runner.
They do that play.
And you've got the tight ends behind him pushing them this way, and you got a linebacker that comes in and wants to give him a shot that way. I mean, maybe that's war on him, because Philadelphia, and I think we talked about this last year, hand the ball off to Saquon. Hurts has to throw the ball 20 times a game. That's Philadelphia's. That's how they win, right? If I look at last week, and I've said this before, if you look at last week with Philadelphia, Hurts' line, 21 of 40. 21 of 40. And I think
against the Chargers.
Yes. I think, and I looked this up last year. I think I pointed out when he has to throw over 25 times, I'm not sure the Eagles are 500. They might be just
they're below 500.
But whatever. It's not. When he throws 25 or less, the Eagles are way above 500. And your point, Ed, with him not running anymore, I mean, Brett said, it could be age. I mean, there's a lot of things that could be.
How old is Jalen's? Probably pushing 30 now, isn't he?
Would you know, Dad? I don't know. Is he 30? I don't.
Crazy.
Has he?
It's crazy to think that, but
you bring up an excellent point. I have not an excellent argument against the tush push. I've never heard anybody make, and that's actually a really good argument to get rid of the tush push. I've never heard of that. Never thought of that. So that, if Nick Wright's watching, he might pass that on to the NFL, and maybe the rules committee is going to leverage that in the offseason to get rid of it.
I mean, I agree. It's a free shot.
Yeah, never.
I mean, it didn't come from me, so maybe I need to say it, and then
You
Nick
should
Wright
say
sees
it because Nick Wright
Yeah.
steals stuff. I know
Well,
he's watching
guys.
So-
Guys, the reason Hurts might be struggling is
Well, I wanted to
when
say
he's
that
like
about
when
it,
he's
but
like
it's
when they hike him the ball and he's like Eric and he's just horizontal and he's got guys ramming him from
Jesus.
the front,
Ed,
banging him in the head.
Marty has a question. What's that weird ticking sound? You must have
I'll
it against
tell
your.
you- I'll tell you exactly what it is.
Yes, please do because it's driving me crazy.
Your camera's bouncing every time it ticks.
You know why that is? I've got a nervous habit where I shake my leg.
That's what it is?
Yeah, my leg starts hitting the desk, and it does that. See that?
No, I do the same thing, Ed, but when we're on this, I never do it. But if I'm in my office and I'm on the phone or something, I'll sit there and do that too.
I
Yeah.
start
actually
shaking my
hear a
leg. I don't
ticking
even
sound.
realize I do.
Yeah, me too. I hear a ticking sound. So does Chad.
Yeah,
And it seems like when it ticks, that's when your camera starts to wobble. I thought maybe you put that
Sorry, dude,
battery
that's what
pack.
it is.
Oh.
Jolene will reach over and grab my leg and would you stop it?
Whoa, whoa!
It's like,
She
Jesus.
is.
Hey, I got a ticking sound on my leg.
I wanted to say that about. I apologize for my leg. That's just that's the 61-year-old coming out.
What's Jolene supposed to do? I mean, she's merely a woman. I mean, look at Ed. What is she supposed to do? The fact that she ever keeps her hands off of him is
But the next time they show the tush push, just watch all the helmets from each side of the line that are doing nothing but ramming the other side. They're doing helmet to helmet every free end. It was one thing to do it once or twice a game. It's another thing. Now, I think there was one game I watched. They did it like 5 times in the game.
Yeah. And to me, that's 5 free shots at the head of Jalen Hurts.
Yep.
And again, I'm not saying that's what it is, but those poundings, I mean, it's got to take
I'm
its toll.
surprised
Maybe
that there
he's
haven't
hurt.
been more knees taken out and stuff because, the Vikings tried to, when they played Philadelphia, they tried to go against the tush push by having a lineman go sideways.
Who is that sacrificial lamb?
Yeah, they had him do nothing but go sideways so it could undercut all the legs of the lineman from the get-go. And it's like, okay, so now you've got now it's unsafe for the knees of all the linemen, not to mention all the helmets coming in. I mean, to me, from a safety standpoint.
I mean, honestly, the Vikings combated the tush push pretty well, but I would have loved to have been there on Wednesday when Brian Flores was talking about the tush push and how they're going to defend it. And he said, listen, I have an idea. And I need the toughest SOB on this team. And there was probably about 6 guys go, Coach, that's me. Okay, I'm going to start with you. This is what I want you to do. You're going to turn sideways in front of the center. Whoa, wait, I'm going to do what? Never mind, Coach. When I saw them line up, I thought, well, it's something different. Let's see if it works. In actuality, it did throw Philadelphia off a little bit. But who the hell wants to be the guy that's turned sideways in front of the Eagles' offensive line?
Now you're getting kicked from both sides of the line.
Oh, you're getting your guys and you're just in the middle.
You're on the very bottom. Yeah.
No thanks. No thanks.
Eric's working up a sweat.
No, I definitely would not be something I would do there. All right. Anything else?
I think they probably use that Minnesota cheerleader to try that out practice to begin with. That's why.
Well, I'm sure,
That was the first thing that came to mind.
Sure if they do that, that'll make sure that I see that it happens.
They just couldn't resist.
The only thing I will say, Chad, is that it may come out this last. It come out this last week that where did he originate from? He originated from Iowa State.
Oh no, he did.
Yes, he did. He originated from Iowa State.
At least he did not come from my Indiana Hoosiers. I mean, I don't care where he came from as long as he come from my Indiana Hoosiers.
Oh, Ed.
Jeez. Talk about losing your composure.
Gotta
there for
love
a
the
little
state
bit.
of Minnesota, don't you?
Gosh. All right. Let's get to pick 'em. We're way ahead, guys. Like, are you sure you don't want to talk about something else? We don't want to get out of here early, do we?
It might take us longer and pick them this week.
Yeah, we do have 2, 4, 6, 8 games. All right, first game. Cleveland, 3-10 at Chicago, 9-4. Chicago's a 7.5-point favorite. I'm not even fighting it. I'm taking Chicago. Chad?
As always, I'm very uncomfortable with these things. Give me the Bears.
Brett
looks very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
KJ's taking the Bears as well.
it is a Eric special must win for Chicago.
It is.
Give me Chicago.
Ed?
Okay, I'm going to do something a little different this week since it's obvious that trying to make sense of these games has zero bearing on who wins and who loses. So in this game, when you think of the Bears, you think of Grizzlies, right? They're really fierce, and they try to intimidate the other team. And then
by the way, you sounded a little bit like your cheerleader.
And then on the other side,
fierce.
you got the Cleveland Browns. What do the Browns represent? They represent that little skid mark in your shorts after you see the giant grizzly. So they have no shot. Give me the Chicago Bears.
Oh, Jesus. I didn't think that was going to be over that quick. The next game. I can't wait. If he's going to do every game like that, I can't wait to hear what some of these are going to be.
This is going to get interesting.
Next game, 6-7, Baltimore. Oh, let's make sure we get our comments here. We got Jay taking the Bears, Marty Bears, Big Mike Bears, Henry Bears. Baltimore 6-7, 2.5-point favorite at Cincinnati, 4-9. Ed, I'm just gonna let you get your explanation as to why you're making it pick out of the way.
When you think of a Raven, what do you think of?
Somebody's got too much time on their hands.
You got that roadkill that's on the highway.
Oh,
What's one of the last things that swoop in? What represents death? Nothing more than a raven. But then you look at the Bengals, you got this fierce tiger, and not only a fierce tiger, but it looks pretty. It comes swooping in, and the Ravens take off like a bat out of hell because they want no part of these Bengal tigers fighting over that roadkill. So give me Cincinnati.
Brett?
Yeah, give me the Bengals. Baltimore this is probably their last. That whole team, coach, everything's going to be dismantled after this season. Give me the Bengals.
I had no clue. Ed was a budding fucking poet. Give me the Bengals.
Oh, man, this is one of those back and forth. I think Cincinnati's all but eliminated. I'm not even sure why Joe Burrow is playing other than pride. Baltimore looks so discombobulated, but like this is like the epitome of a must-win for Baltimore. I'm going to take Baltimore.
Oh, my God. I can't believe you actually went out on a limb. What did who'd KJ take?
KJ took Baltimore as well.
Oh,
so,
okay. Now it makes sense. Okay.
I just looked at what he took. Sense. Oh, my God. I got to get separation from KJ.
Sure stays with KJ. Okay, go ahead.
Whatever.
Marty has the standing. I missed the standings. We'll have to.
I'll put them up there. Marty took Baltimore. Jay's got the Bengals. Henry's got the Bengals. And Big Mike has Baltimore in a must-win or season is likely over. I agree with Big Mike big time. Next game. The LA Superchargers doesn't even make sense anymore. 9-4, 3.5-point favorites at Kansas City, 6-7. KJ has the Chargers. Chad, all right, I'll go Brett this time. Brett, you can go first this time.
Kansas City, Chris Jones, Herbert. It could be bad for Herbert. He probably don't even. He needs to sit this game out. Give me the Chiefs.
If I go back to last week, wherever that's at, and I look at you guys that took Kansas City over the Texans, I think KJ and I were the only ones that took the Texans, and you're going right back to the Kansas City. Well, that's a bold move, Cotton. All right, Ed, who you got?
Okay. So if you look at the Kansas City Chiefs, we all agree that the dynasty is over, right? So you've got fans jumping off the bandwagon left and right. Okay.
Where's this going?
When you look at the LA Chargers, nowadays, who can go without their phone? Everybody needs a charger, right? So charger is very important. Give me the Chargers.
We simply don't have the time for me to say anything other than, you know what? I have picked against Kansas City, and they have done me well. I'm taking the Chargers. Chad,
give me the Chargers.
Okay. I was like, are you going with Brett on an island here? I don't know. We'll see. We got Marty with the Chargers. We got Henry with the Chargers. We got Mike, Big Mike with the Chargers. Ooh, Jay says, give me the Chiefs only because Herbert is hurt. That burnt us. That burned a couple guys last week. Ed said he can do this all night. I hope to God you're not correct, Jay. Next game.
He's got
Buffalo, 9-4, 1.5-point favorite at the Patriots, 11-2. KJ has
believe in the Patriots.
KJ has the Buffs to start it off with. I'll go ahead, Chad.
I will take the May New England Patriots, please. Give me the Patriots.
Brett?
You remember that old song from the late 70s?
Uh-oh.
The Buffalo Bills. How'd it go? I got that feeling Buffalo's going to the Super Bowl. Jay might remember that. Anyways, the year they did that song, they did not go to the Super Bowl, but give me the Bills.
It was the Steelers, but okay.
I think Buffalo comes in. I think Buffalo returns the favor on the Patriots from the first game. I think Buffalo needs to win this game.
Yeah, the old needs.
Yep, the needs. This is a must-win, Chad. I know you love those. So it's a must-win for Buffalo. Henry has – I'm going to try to get all this out of the way before Ed goes into his spiel. Henry's got Buffalo. Marty's got New England. Big Mike's got Buffalo. We know Jay has Buffalo. So, Ed, go ahead. I'll just take my –
So, you remember back when the Patriots had their dynasty, they had bandwagon jumpers like no other, right? Well, then when Kansas City come along, like I said, Kansas City dynasty is over. All those bandwagon jumpers were suddenly Chief fans. Well, now you see New England with Drake May coming back into prominence. Everybody's jumping on the bandwagon for the Patriots again. But then, have you ever stepped in a fresh, hot, steaming buffalo chip? Got it all over your shoes? You can't. I mean, once you stepped in a buffalo chip, you'll never take them. Give me New England.
Oh, man. I don't know how you came to that conclusion, but I mean, okay.
That might be the best one yet.
Jesus.
I'm a bandwagon jumper over stepping in a hot steaming buffalo chicken.
Hey, okay. Oofda. 9-3 Green 9-3-1 Green Bay is a 2.5-point favorite at the Broncos. 11-2. KJ has the Broncos. I'm trying to figure out how I can make the universe all line up to where I can screw Green Bay over. And I think if I pick Green Bay, that's going to do it. So I'm going to take Green Bay.
Well,
Now I just guaranteed a Broncos win. So you guys should all take the Broncos because I have guaranteed a Broncos win by taking Green Bay. Just saying.
well, I tell you, Denver's got a lot better defense than Chicago. Give me Denver.
I want to pick Denver, but I got to keep the gank, man. Like, I think Denver's defense is going to.
You can't talk about it. You
No,
can't talk
you
about
can.
it.
You can.
No, you can't.
Yeah,
I
you
am
can.
the expert in the gank
Okay.
and the anti-gank.
All
You don't know.
Yeah, but you talk about it all the time. Like, we're going to lose by 3. Give me, I mean, like,
Well, I don't talk about it. I don't say it.
you
I
lay
don't
it
say,
out.
"Oh, I'm gonna gank them."
That's
You don't
so-
say it.
So who did you take? Eric? We don't
I
got
took-
all night. What'd you-
I
You
took Green Bay. I said that already. KJ's got the
Who you got,
Broncos.
Brett?
Chad's got the Broncos. Brett, go ahead.
Well, everybody knows I can't pick my nose, so I'm picking Green Bay.
Oh, no.
Using Eric's logic.
Okay.
All right, Ed, what do you got for the Packers
Denver
Broncos?
Broncos. When you think of a Bronco, you think of that beautiful horse that's that last Mustang of the wild that can't be tamed. On the other hand, you look at a Packer. What is a Packer?
Well, this could go anywhere.
There's a Packer.
Minnesota cheerleader.
Are they cheese Packers? Are they fudge Packers?
Eric.
I guess it would depend on whether, I mean, are you the center? Are you the quarterback?
Are you the big spoon or are you the small spoon?
What are you? I mean, someone explain to me what kind of a Packer we're talking about here. But I got to go with the home of the free. Give me those wild Mustangs all the way.
Marty has Green Bay. Big Mike's got Denver. Jay has Green Bay. Henry's got Denver. And that's it. All right. Next game. Detroit, 8-5. At LA, 10-3. LA is a 5.5-point favorite. Give me the Rams all the way. KJ has the Rams. Ed, go ahead. Just get your Rams.
Oh, this
Detroit
is an
line.
easy one. This is the battle of the coaches, and Dan Campbell can be. He can't. I'm done even trying to point out all the times he screwed his own team over going forward on 4th down. So, battle of the coaches. It's not even close. So give me the Rams.
Jeez, I
That
was trying to
wasn't
figure
very
out how,
poetic.
I was trying to figure out how he was going to do the whole lion, roar, the ram. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in that one.
I am kind of too. You went from Buffalo chip to that. I'm disappointed.
That was like a deflating balloon.
Yeah, it was. Chad, who you got?
I think the Detroit is imploding a little bit. Give me the Rams.
Brett?
Hey, it's a must win for Detroit, Eric. Give me the Rams.
Who did KJ take?
KJ took the Rams as well. Marty has Detroit. Jay says LA because the Lions suck. Henry took
What'd you say KJ was?
the Rams.
Okay.
Jay says LA because the Lions suck. Henry has the Rams. And Mike says Detroit needs this game. See? Must-win game, Chad. Everybody's into it but you. Next game. Do we really have to put this one up there? Oh, we put this one up there because Ed has to go all the way to Dallas to watch J.J. McCarthy post like his third 35-point QBR rating. That's what it is. That's why we got.
Well, you going to this game, Ed?
Yeah, I fly out Saturday.
Oh, wow.
That's why we got this game. So we got Minnesota 5-8 at Dallas 6-6-1. Dallas is a 6-point favorite.
Ed, just a second. Ed, are you going to get your picture taken with the cheerleader?
Could you please?
Please.
Seriously. Would you please take one for
the
the
away
team?
games?
Please.
Oh, yeah. They don't?
Away games?
Oh, man.
Yeah, they
You gotta go to a
don't.
home game. You got to go to a home game and get your picture taken.
I was
Please.
shaking my leg there a minute. Sorry.
Yeah. Chill out there.
That is so disappointing.
KJ has Dallas. Brett, who you got? I know who you got, Brett. I'm already writing it down.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, I knew that. Chad?
Give me those Lone Star Pokes.
I've got the Cowboys. All right, Ed, how you going to make this work?
So,
The Viking versus Brokeback Mountain.
Dallas on primetime games this year is 1-6-1.
Ooh.
Okay. And number 2, I decided, you know what? Minnesota needs to take a page out of Indy's book. And for this game, and this game only, I called on 2 of the Minnesota Viking greats to play in this game.
80, what you going to do today?
I got my A game.
You got your A game?
A game?
He got his A game.
So I figure between Justin Jefferson, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Addison, Hawkinson catching his 2 catches a game, that if J.J. McCarthy can't win this game, he will never win this game. Give me a 55-year-old Moss, post-cancer, more power to him. Chris Carter, I mean, if you can't win this game, you're never going to win it. So give me Minnesota.
Yeah,
Wow.
Chris Carter's only 67 years old. This is
But I get to tailgate with some of the Dallas greats. I mean, we're going out to a fancy dinner. I mean, I get to sit with the season ticket holders from the Dallas Cowboys, the parents, and who knows what players I'll get to introduce to at the VIP tailgate.
Okay, if you're at a VIP tailgate and you don't pull an interview for us, you're going to be like in the 4th slot of the bottom line, man. You got to pull an interview for us.
Oh, no.
So, come on, Brett. Leave your cats alone. We got one more pick to make. Last game.
Dude, so you and Chad both took Dallas?
Everybody took Dallas but you. On the comment line, Big Mike, Marty, Jay, Henry, you're the Lone Ranger when it comes to that. Oh, this whole editing thing, Ed, I didn't get them all. This whole 10-second thing, it's like Ed keeps popping this off, but it's not. Okay, Miami 6-7 at 7-6. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's a 3-point favorite at home. Cold weather. Tua has no chance in cold weather, even with an old Rodgers. Pittsburgh's on a roll, which means they'll probably lose, tighten it up with the Ravens, but I'm taking Pittsburgh. Ed, get your. Oh, go ahead, Chad. Since we got to give Ed time to.
I'll do mine real quick. Steelers. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Better be a fun one. Let's go.
So, if you guys watch this show at all, you'll know that KJ is one of the UFL super fans, and he hands out this fancy coin made of steel or titanium steel. Since this is a pick'em game pretty much because they're both 500, heads is Pittsburgh, tails is Miami.
Oh, dropped it.
Give me Pittsburgh. Those heads.
Brett, very scientific.
Steelers, Miami doesn't stand a chance in cold weather.
I'm assuming it's going to be a sweep. Let's see. Jay Steelers, Henry Steelers, Marty Steelers, Big Mike Steelers. Jay, I can't put that on the bottom line page for what your comment is. Brett, you'll just have to read it later.
So
Miami has a blankety blank QB. So I'll just leave it at that, Brett.
So did you guys pick Army Navy?
Yeah, what's your pick, Army or Navy?
Army. An old infantryman, I'm taking Army.
Okay.
Chad, or just so you know, to bring you up to speed, Eric threw both his grandpas under the bus and just disregarded all of their Army, being veterans and all that, retired and all that good stuff. Meant nothing to Eric. Eric went with Navy.
It's got nothing to do with it. I can't. I'm not gonna flip coins, dude. Listen,
Brett, did you do Navy? You did Navy on that, didn't you?
Yeah.
Listen, Ed, if I was in your position and I was so bad on the ticker line, listen, I
got to go home. I got to go home for Christmas in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Can you imagine my dad seeing me sit on here and say, I'm taking Navy?
Huh? Grandpa doesn't listen.
But you can bet your ass. You can bet your ass he's seen Eric say.
If Grandpa was 20 years old playing for Army, I'd take him in a heartbeat. But Grandpa's like 89 years old, and he's 69 years old, and most of the guys playing in that game. It's fine. He'll be fine. Listen, if I was, what are you? I got to look on the ticker here. I'm 87 and 59. KJ's on my heels. Chad's one good week, and Chad's in there. You're 13 games behind me.
I went 3-7.
Yeah, that was a bad week for us. The KJ was the only one that had a good week, dude. Oh boy.
Oh. Does that justify for you, Chad, while I'm doing these great predictions this week?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Ed's like, he's 74 and 72, and he's like, I took Army. Come on, dude. If he was in the lead, if he was leading by a couple games,
shows that Brett and
he would take Navy.
That Brett and I go out on a limb.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Sure you do. All right. We'll see how it goes.
So much for us opening our own tout service.
Yeah. No, you guys won't be opening a pick'em service anytime soon, getting paid for it.
So what the hell happened? It's going to be 10:30 again this week.
What the hell happened was in the NFL picks, you decided to turn it into a goddamn
That was beautiful. That was much better than listening to you two yahoos scream about Notre Dame and Alabama. That was much better than that.
We actually had a very good talk, Chad. I think it was because you were gone for the first
time. That checks out.
Hey, we solved all the world's problems while you were gone.
The football thing figured out. Yeah, we got it figured out. I don't know why they don't. The CFP doesn't watch the bottom
Israel
line.
And Palestine spooning
together.
Yeah,
I mean, if they want to call us on that, I'm sure we can figure that out too. But
having dinner, okay.
Yeah, outside of that, So yeah, outside of that, for the good of the cause. Anything else, boys? Nope. Other than, we got some more snow coming.
Skip the pages we got all our thanks goes out to them for letting us share our show on their page. Yep. And
thanks to all you listeners out there.
Yeah, we enjoy you guys' comments. See a lot of you guys every week.
Everyone but Jay.
Everyone. Well, Jay, he just can't give you your flowers, bud. He just can't do it. Of course, you do throw enough at Brett where,
Well, we've all got important choices to make in life, and he made a stupid ass choice by becoming an Auburn fan. So, you know,
Oh, boy. Well, I mean,
we can't all be winners.
anything else for the good of the cause? Otherwise, we're going to call her good. Oh, he did comment. Oh, no, that was Marty. He's going to get struck by lightning. All right. Well, next Wednesday, we'll see how bad our picks were this week. And we'll let you know how it goes next week. We'll hope it's a little better. Until then, peace and chicken grease. See you next week. 8 p.m. Central. After all the cold weather comes through here, right?
Go Army.
Yeah.
I'm
going to be on the road.
Next Wednesday. See ya.
And that's the bottom line.